Hi there, it's your Mayor Rusty Bailey here. Riverside Public Utilities is working hard to minimize the chance of Riversiders losing electricity as a result of a public safety power shutoff. Have a listen to this.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Riverside Monthly with Mayor Bailey. I'm Steve Brazel, joined by the mayor for the city of Riverside. Mayor Bailey, how are you, sir?
I am fabulous. And am I the host?
You are the host. I'm just
Really?
a sidekick.
Well, I'm glad to be here as the host of this show.
It's like our own little Marvel movie. We've got a great guest with us today, and it's so timely that Todd is here. Todd Corbin is the general manager of Riverside Public Utilities. Thanks for joining us, by the way.
My pleasure to be with you.
And we're going to be talking about a rather serious issue. Mayor, you want to get us started on this?
Yeah, well, I don't know if anybody's heard, but it's fire season, and there are a lot of fires across the state and in our region. And so we're in a serious situation when it comes to public safety power shutdowns. How did we get here, Todd?
Well, Power Safety Power Shutoffs, PSPS, is a program that developed out of the wildfire mitigation plans that were required as part of all the utilities across California to develop. Now, the investor-owned utilities, the IOUs, developed a wildfire mitigation plan, and as an element of that, PSPS, or these power shutoffs, were part of the plan to eliminate or to reduce significantly the risk that wildfires could start from failures from the electrical grid or their electrical systems.
And we've known that there's been we heard about some shut-offs in Northern California
Yeah.
recently, at least at the time we're recording this recently. But what's interesting is RPU is not investor-owned. So with that the case, does this still affect RPU customers?
Well, that is one of the most difficult parts of our messaging to our customers because the city of Riverside owns its own electric utility.
Right.
For the past 100 years, we have been delivering power to our customers, and we are not an investor-owned utility. However, we're still impacted because the electricity that we receive into the city is transmitted through the power lines of the investor-owned utilities, specifically Southern California Edison. So that electric grid uses Southern California Edison's system to deliver power to the city of Riverside. Once the power gets transferred past our city limits, it becomes our power system, and we take responsibility
But we
for
are
it.
downstream from them.
We are.
And it's complicated because we only have one connection to the grid. We
Which
were on
is
here,
we had an
Riverside
episode on that
Transmission
earlier,
Reliability
too,
Project,
yeah.
RTRP, the Transmission Reliability Project that we're still working on. And so because of that, it even further exacerbates that issue. We're on an island with one
Right.
connection to
Right.
that grid. If SCE calls for a PSPS, does it mean power will be shut off? Well, definitely. I mean, is it imminent?
Well, the protocol is that the investor-owned utilities give notice to their customers. And so the notice could be that we are eligible for a shutoff, but may not actually be shut off. Now, the city of Riverside has invested significantly in its own internal generation, so we can generate about a third of our peak power demands from our own internal.
Oh, that's interesting.
Our own
Yeah,
internal
that's for emergency
sources.
uses,
Right.
like hospitals, jails, schools, sensitive receptors, so to speak.
So in the worst case scenario, that equipment will run, keep the emergency and the critical facilities up and running. However, depending on the time of day, what our load is at the time, our customer usage, we could have to shed some load to meet the PSPS event.
Which kind of brings us back to, you said something earlier that the fact that we're not investor-owned made the messaging difficult, right, and getting that out. Yeah. I'm curious the challenges that you see getting that message out to RPU customers about the risk of a power shutoff and what that entails.
Well, our customer service team sees a really large increase in customer calls just because of the information that's out in the local media. So if someone's watching a television program or the news, they understand that there's a PSPS event in the area or in the region.
Right.
They think that applies to them in the city of Riverside, and then they call to see if they're affected.
So what should customers do if they lose power? Is 311 an option? Is that the best option?
Well, certainly they can call 311 at any time if they have access to their cell phones or call from their landlines. However, they can also go to our website, riversidepublicutilities.com. And we're also recommending that customers sign up for Riverside Alerts, riversidealerts.com.
Yep.
And if there is an event, an alert will be sent out. They'll receive it either by email or on their mobile phone, and they'll know that an actual event is happening. If it happens, we are asking our customers to conserve as much power and water as possible because our water systems run on pumps and motors and equipment
yeah.
and treatment plants.
Not just
that,
electricity.
That uses electricity. And
It's
so
water.
conserving water and electricity during a PSP event.
That's an interesting one because I like to think of myself as semi-intelligent, and I would not have made that connection on my own that in a power issue, anything that's delivered using power, water being one of them, matters as well. I want to give the contact info out before we close again really quick. So 311, obviously, one call does it all.
Does it all.
But what are the two websites you mentioned? It was riversidealert.com and then what's...
riversidepublicutilities.com.
Okay, so riversidepublicutilities.com. Is there anything we didn't touch on that we should have?
We appreciate the concern of our customers. We want our customers to know that we are working every day to keep the power on. As I mentioned, the City of Riverside has invested significantly in backup power generation sources, and we're continuing to look for alternatives. We think that the Riverside Transmission Reliability Project is one of those significant projects to mitigate the effects of a PSPS event.
I'd love to do another episode on that
Yeah, well,
sometime.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
should. We should. So they need to stay informed, but they don't need to freak out in terms of our customers.
Exactly.
We will send out alerts if we think that event is imminent. And there may be an event that happens just out of the normal course of operating our own electric grid. So don't assume that if you receive a power outage that's related to a PSPS event, it could be just a local issue that our crews will work on to correct as soon as possible.
But it is a good time to be informed and to make sure that you have water, just like if there was an earthquake,
Right.
or any other natural disaster. You should be prepared for those things, and that includes having some extra water on on the
Water,
premises.
lanterns,
Right.
that type of a thing, because you don't know that the power outage won't affect you at night.
Yep.
So just normal emergency preparation, as it were. Todd, I really appreciate your coming down.
We appreciate the opportunity to share this information.
Also, Mr. Mayor, as always, great
Hey,
to see you,
we'll
sir.
do it again.
So again, I want to thank our guest, Todd Corbin from the Riverside Public Utilities, General Manager of the organization. And if you have any questions, keep those websites and phone numbers in mind, riversidealert.com, riversidepublicutilities.com, 311 one call does it all. That's it for this segment of Riverside Monthly, but we usually have 3 or 4 segments per month. So make sure you go find those as well, watch them, and we will see you on the next show.